So you've been doing this job for a long time. You're obviously very accomplished at it. Um, and imagine you were sitting with a recent college grad who just says, I really want to be a chief people officer someday.
Mhm.
What advice would you give them to prepare for that?
Yeah. So I would start by saying that there's like not one degree that you can study in college that prepares you for this role, but there are a lot of degrees that you can bring to bear on this role. So you don't have to major in human resources or organizational development or industrial psychology. You can come at this from a lot of different ways. And in thinking about this, I'm reminded of being a young HR professional and sitting with who was one of my mentors at that time. Um, and he told me this advice, and I don't think I really understood it until maybe 5 years ago, which is crazy to think about that. But it was somewhere like kicking around in there, and I understood it. But he said, in order to be really good at HR, you have to understand the business. You have to understand how the business makes money, what levers you can pull, how you can change and pivot, how it's going to grow, what's the strategy. Whereas, at that point in my career, I was like, well, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to set up this benefit plan and I'm going to recruit these people. I'm going to do this. And, we bring the same sort of functional, like HR functional stuff to any company, but you have to like do it in a different way. There's not one solution because I couldn't take something that I did for a company, 3 companies ago and bring it to Techno Silva. It wouldn't have worked. Like it just, I'm gonna write the exact same performance review process. Well, that didn't take into any account what's going on at Techno Silva, how this company is growing globally, the specific industry that we work in. And so, if I had to boil that down into one sentence, it's like be a student of whatever industry you're in. Understand how that industry works, understand how that company is going to be successful, and then align your people strategies around that.
That's a great answer. And it connects back to what you said earlier about what has changed in the role is that HR can be seen as a strategic partner to the company and not just an administrator and filer of papers about people. And when you said that answer about, you know, the kind of the transformation of the value expectation of HR, um, what popped in my head was sort of a skeptical counterpoint to that, which is HR has to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had an HR person that showed up and said, "Well, take me seriously as a part of the executive team, and I want to be in those strategic conversations, and I want to produce that kind of value for this company." Uh, what you just said about learning what that company needs in its industry, what its growth goals are, how it makes money, um, that's what you have to do in order to earn that seat at the table.
Yeah. Like learn to read a P&L, understand the data, like be able to
Mm,
bring data that supports what you're trying to achieve to the table. Don't just say, hey, I think it's a great idea if we do this. Like no other executive gets to come and say, hey, I think it's a great idea. Marketing doesn't do that. Product doesn't do it. Engineering doesn't do it. So you
yeah.
shouldn't expect to get that right either.
Yeah. And if HR is going to get a stereotypical sort of presumptuous accusation made at it, it's that it's warm and fuzzy, just trying to make people happy. And, you know, people don't want to work too much. And so HR is going to protect the people. Like that's not,
Right, yeah.
yeah. So you have to overcome that. And I think what you're describing as start off with the mindset that you are a peer executive understanding the business model and the growth goals, and then HR is inside of that. That's great.
Yeah. Have an opinion. I often I'm sort of the joke because if we'll do a disc profile or a predictive index profile or any of them, your stereotypical on the disc profile, your stereotypical HR person or what everybody thinks the HR person should be is the S. And I am like, directly across and off the chart from the S. And so to where like if you put it up blankly, they're like, where's our HR person? There's no H. Where are they? Who's going to take care of the people? But my vision of that is by knowing and understanding the business and being able to put plans in place, I do a better job of like taking care of the people than being the people person and the
Yeah.
cruise ship activity director.
Huh.